Hey, thanks for dropping by to the Planners on Purpose podcast, created by Naomi Tucker, CMP. Now, this space is for the event planners to encourage and empower you so that you can fully live your life on purpose. So before we dig in, please take a moment to subscribe so you get future shows. Now, here she comes, your host, Naomi.
Hey everyone, this is Naomi. Good to be here. I want to ask you a couple of things. First thing is, have you ever been busy working on absolutely nothing? And has your response to people that are asking you how you're doing, is it typically that you're busy? Well, if that is the case, then this episode is for you, because we're going to talk about the differences between being busy and being productive. And I'm going to give you 3 ways to get out of busy and get into more productive. So sit back, relax, and join me for this episode. Okay, well, let's get to it. So when we look at busy and we look at productive, we see 2 very different words. And actually, they have 2 very different meanings as well. When we look at the word busy, that particular word has the definition of saying if you are occupied with something. So you're occupied with something if you're busy, right? And you have a great deal to do. So that is typically what busy is associated with. And you know what? Everything that we do can actually fall into the bucket of busy. So you can be busy doing a lot of things, but it's not necessarily the most productive thing that you could do. So I encourage you to really think about that definition, because being busy isn't all what it is cracked up to be. So if that is something that you're using to say, well, I'm busy, or it's been a busy week, or it's been a busy month, or this year has been busy, well, what are you really saying? It just means that you're occupying yourself with something and you have a great deal that's keeping you occupied. But is it truly something that's making you productive? Are you moving the needle forward? So on the other hand, we look at the word productive. So productive actually means producing large amounts of whatever it is, goods, crops, commodities, being fruitful, yielding something. You're producing something out of what you're doing. So I encourage you to look at what you're doing, and is it producing something for you? Is it producing a result for you? And that is pretty much the question that we have to ask ourselves. So if we're going throughout our days and we are looking at the outcome of each day, what am I getting? What is the result from this day? And is it something that I can say is fruitful? Is it something that has progressed me forward? And if the answer is yes, then that's amazing. You're being productive. And if the answer is no, then maybe we need to look at some ways to get you out of busy and get you into productive. So I have 3 ways for you today that you can stop being busy and get more into productive, so that we can basically move the needle forward, because that's what we want to do, right? We want to just move forward every day, little by little. So the first way is stop doing all the busy things. Okay. So there's so many of the busy things that we're doing in our worlds. And if you're looking at yourself and you're wondering, what is something that I do every day that's a busy thing that I can stop or I can get rid of? Well, one of the things that I believe that is very common to all of us is social media. it's the Instagrams, it's the YouTube, it's the Facebook. It can suck up your time. There's a way to use those tools to be productive, but there's also a way to use those tools that will do nothing but get you in the cycle of busy. Many of us may remember or can recall stop the scroll, right? When people say stop the scroll, it's literally stop wasting your time scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through the feeds to find something that's of interest to you. I don't know about you, but sometimes you can get stuck scrolling for endlessly. It seems like for hours you're scrolling to find something that's new. And also what else happens is you end up comparing yourself to others. You look at other people and you realize, oh my gosh, she went on a great vacation. I guess I need to go on a great vacation too. Or, oh, isn't that great that they got together? So it stirs up certain feelings within you. So when we are looking at social media, we want to use it to our benefit and not to our detriment. So we want to make sure that those negative feelings around social media, we're limiting them, and that we really use it in a more productive way. So I would encourage you to stop the scroll, and that's one of the ways that you can be more productive and get out of busy. So how do you do that? Perhaps we find other times in order to do the social media. So perhaps that's in the evenings, or perhaps it's a significant, or not a significant, but a specific amount of time during the day. And you only give yourself, let's say, 15 minutes to get caught up on your social media before you move on to your next task. That is a simple way to minimize how much you are on social and spending there. Another way is to perhaps not look at your feed of social media until you put something out there that's going to bring people up, or be a positive impact, right, on others. So let's say you make a post about something that you've done or something that you're proud of. And maybe at that point, that's the time that you can take a few minutes just to look and see what's going on. The reason why I say that is because you're already in a position where you're feeling good about yourself, and you're feeling like you've accomplished something, and you're feeling like you have something good to contribute. And at that time, it's easier for us to scroll a little bit, see what's going on in our world, and then again, put a limit on it and move on. So that's one way that you can stop doing busy things, is stop the scroll and really limit your social media. So my second thing for you is to have a super laser focus, okay? Now, a lot of us know about multitasking, and many of us feel as though multitasking is a strength. Well, I'm here to tell you is that multitasking can definitely be a detriment to your work. So what is best for you is to focus on a specific task intently for a given amount of time. So we want to make sure that instead of having our hands in all the things, that we focus on one thing and do it well before moving on to your next task. So I'm encouraging you, instead of multitasking, we unitask, or we just focus on one task at a time, so that you're able to be more productive with that one thing. Get it out the door, do your best work, and move on to the next thing. Another point I want to make about multitasking is that it can be compared to you being intoxicated and to you being high. There have been articles written on this. So really, when you think about that, and when you understand that, wow, if I'm working on 5 different things, it really is equivalent to me being intoxicated while working. So keep that in mind and focus on one task at a time, and then move on. So that is the second item for you. Now, my third way to get out of busy and get into productive is realizing that there's a time and a place for everything. And this is something that my dad always told me growing up, and he still tells me to this day because I love to push the boundaries on that. So there is a time and a place for everything. So make sure that you do allot the time and you do allot the place for all of the things that you have to do in your daily work. And this really comes with scheduling smart. And I really say this a lot because it's so very important for you to schedule your day in a way that's going to work for you, in a way that's going to help you be more productive, and in a way that's going to help you reap the biggest amount of results possible, because that's what we want. We want to be able to be more productive with our time, yield a big impact, great result, and then still have time to do the things that are important to us, even if that is doing some social media indulgent things. So anyway, I would just encourage you to make sure you're scheduling smart, make sure you're having a time for everything on your calendar, regardless if it's appointments, regardless if it's focus time, regardless if it's talking to that friend over the phone. Definitely put it in your calendar as much as you can. Protect your time so that you can be more productive. And then the next thing is stick to your script. Okay. I know I said I would give you 3 ways, but I'm thinking of it and I want to add in this 4th way for you. Stick to your script. Stick to the commitments that you are making to yourself. The most important person that you're going to make a commitment to is going to be yourself. So if you're telling yourself, yes, I want to stop my social media and only do social media from 7 to 8 p.m. at night. Or I want to be able to focus on one task at a time, so I'm going to schedule my calendar accordingly. That's wonderful. Making plans is awesome, but make sure you also are finishing it. Make sure you're also following through on your plans. Stick to your commitment to yourself. So those are my 3 plus a little bonus way to get out of busy and get into productive. And I really hope that this episode helped you so very much. I also wanted to give you a little food for thought. Many times when we're so busy, we allow things to continue to accumulate on our desks, right? Because we're just being occupied for the sake of being occupied. We have a great deal to do, but nothing's getting done. And what that can cause is it can cause overwhelm. And what overwhelm can do eventually is burn you out. So it's really important for us to really be productive, put these practices in place so we can be more productive with our work and do the things that we want to do in life. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode. We talked about being busy or being productive, what those differences are. And I gave you 3 ways to get out of busy and into productive, plus that little bonus way. So I hope that you are have an amazing and productive rest of your week and that you stick to your script. Okay, everyone, we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit the like button and tell us how much you enjoyed the show by leaving a message in the comments. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.